Hello, I'm nsalsbury and this is my information speech. Human beings have tried a variety of food and drinks. Almost every food and drink has been tried by someone at some point in time. Some of these food and drinks have a different effect on the body and sometimes pleasurable, and they can become addictive. According to the Snyder Institute for Health, more deaths, illnesses, and diseases occur from substance abuse than any other preventable disease known to man. On top of that, $414 billion is what it costs our economy each year for the treatment of substance abuse. Today, we're going to talk and get a better understanding that addiction is a disease. It needs to be treated like a disease. You need to get the medical treatment and have family support just like any other illness would. Some people may call it a lack of willpower, a moral weakness, or an ability to fit in, but for the people who suffer from this, they know it's real. And no matter what you think about addiction, millions of lives are affected every year. I personally have suffered from addiction. I drank alcohol and smoked marijuana for almost 15 years. I thought that I could always stop whenever I wanted to. I always said I'm not going to drink anymore, I'm not going to smoke anymore. The problem was I never did any less either. It took a wife, 3 kids, 2 heart surgeries, and the grace of God to help me get sober. Today in this speech we're going to talk about what is the definition of addiction. We're going to talk about some of the things that people get addicted to, and we're going to talk about some of the treatment options that are out there today. So let's get started. First of all, what is the definition of addiction? Well, according to the American Psychological Association, they have these DSM charts here. They have these for every mental illness. There's a different criteria for each one. This is the one for alcohol. A is a maladaptive pattern of substance abuse that leads to significant impairment. And 3 of the following. A is tolerance. If you used to drink 3 beers and now you drink a case of beer, you have a tolerance. Withdrawal. If you didn't have your cup of coffee this morning and you cussed your kid out before we got on the bus, you may be having a withdrawal symptom. Larger amount over a longer period of time. If you used to come home and have a few drinks and now you come home and drink as soon as you get home until you go to bed, that's a larger amount over a longer period of time. Persistent desire. If you sit at work and think all day long about getting home and having that drink, that is a persistent desire. A considerable amount of time spent obtaining your substance. If you call every friend you know and drive all around the state to get the drug that you want, you've spent considerable time. In the place of important activities. If you sat at home and drank instead of going to your kid's baseball game, you've put a substance in place of important activity. And finally, continued use despite physical or psychological problems. If you get up every morning and throw up and continue to drink whiskey every night, you are continuing to drink despite a problem. Now, what are some of the things that people are addicted to? The main 3 that people think about is alcohol, tobacco, and marijuana. By 8th grade in the United States, 52% of kids have tried alcohol, 41% have smoked cigarettes, and 20% have smoked marijuana. Age is crucial. The younger that somebody starts this pattern, the better chance they have at continuing it throughout their adult life. The second group of drugs is illicit drugs. These contain heroin, cocaine, ecstasy, methamphetamines, and some other sort of drugs. These drugs are more addictive and more dangerous. Since the 1980s, deaths from substance abuse has more than doubled because of these drugs. And third and finally, anything can really be plugged into this chart here. Activities, there's sex addicts, there's gambling addicts, there's shopping addicts, there's people addicted to food and TV. Anything that you can do can be plugged into here. Some of these might not have as much physical damage, but they can destroy your life all the same. Now finally, we're going to talk about what are some of the treatments for this. First of all, there's the psychodynamic. This was designed by Sigmund Freud. Most of all, with this treatment, it's about unresolved issues as a child. This treatment may help you fix some of these unresolved issues, but it's not very successful in treating addiction. Second is behavioral. This uses negative stimulus. If you go to take a drink, they might give you an electrical shock every time, or try to get negative images in your mind before you would use your substance, which might work for the short term, but it's not very successful long term. Third, here we have cognitive behavioral. Now this is pretty effective. It has you go sit down, make a list of things, time, places, the environment, people you might hang out with that might trigger your use. Also, it helps develop a pattern or develop a system to help you prevent relapse. If you stick with this program, it has about a 70%, not total abstinent rate, but to be better than you were before. Third, we have the biological. This is basically giving people meds so that they won't use their drug. If you take the pill, you might get sick if you drink alcohol, which would work great if you take your pill every day, but if you're an addict, you're not going to take your pill every day and you're going to drink. Finally, we have self-help and the residential program. Self-help contains AA. AA is Alcohol Anonymous. They also have Narcotics Anonymous, all kinds of anonymous out there. They have over 2 million members and 100,000 groups across the country. It is a great place to start. It's free. It's just really a group of people that get together that all have the same problem, that want to help each other. You get a sponsor, they look after you, they call you, they make sure things are going all right, and everybody can get together and work together to get better. The last one here is residential programs. This is mostly what people think of as rehab. You go to a place and you stay for a little while. Because a lot of times if you've drank and done drugs for years, you've kind of forgot how to live life sober. They teach you how to start over, how to learn, how to get a job, how to learn to cook, how to just learn to live life sober. Both of these here have really good success rates, and hundreds of thousands of people will claim that they have benefited from these sorts of treatment. In conclusion today, we've talked about what the definition of addiction is. We've talked about some of the substances people that get addicted to. We've talked about some of the treatments that people use. So remember, even if you don't have a lot of money and your insurance won't cover all these fancy treatments here, there's always self-help groups out there. There's local AA meetings in every town all across this country, and you can always find somewhere to go. And if you're a family member or a spouse of someone that is an addict, remember that you can't change this person. They have to make the decision for themselves to change. And if you are an addict, make that decision today to get better. You don't want to ruin your life and do any more damage than you've already done. So thank you for your time. Thank you.